I just want to welcome everybody to the Talentless show where I just had a ficus fall on me. Recfest 2025, Nashville. We're doing it, folks. We are here with my co-host, Ashley King, and our impressive guest, Brooke Freeburg and Krissy Callari. And if this ficus falls on me again, I am literally going to kill it. I want the ficus to fall on me so I can have a murder scene.
The ficus is in this podcast.
It's a third member of our podcast. And you know I love ID and murder, so I should just murder the ficus.
What on earth are you talking about right now? ID, the channel ID snapped?
Yes, like snapped. Oh my God. I am going to snap that. But I want to welcome everyone to the Talentless podcast here at Recfest 2025. We are doing a clock out kind of version of our podcast. We're so excited to have our two favorite people in the room. And so we're going to let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Brooke. Brooke, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, and I'd like to start with I'm not a botanist. So controlling the ficus in any way. I am Brooke Freeburg. I am Senior Director of Talent Operations at ZRG Partners, the Embedded Division.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And Krissy.
Well, hello, everyone. Krissy Callari. I'm the Talent Operations Manager at ZRG Embedded as well. Thrilled to be here.
We are so excited to have you. First of all, because you are...
We didn't introduce the ficus.
Ficus
okay, ficus came back.
Are not friends.
Ficus leaned in me this time and was like, hey, girl, here's my intro.
Bad for this ficus.
Her name is Charlotte.
Oh.
If it hadn't been a botanist, you would have known. You would have known. I literally said her name is Franny.
Franny.
No, maybe it's her name.
We should have gotten that one.
Yeah, we're way off on all this. The fact that the ficus has had more talking points than anyone else here.
Oh, good. I know. But let's start in.
Let's lead in.
Let's go. Because really, when we talk about clock out and talk about Talentless, we talk about the journey that you guys have been on in recruiting. And I know you both very well, but I also want to talk about your journey into recruiting. So, because most of us fell into it, right? We kind of stumbled into that thing. And so, Brooke, I would love to hear your story first.
Yeah, I like to say, and I start with the story always with, in middle school, I signed my yearbook's first girl in the NBA.
Woo!
And obviously that wasn't the case, so I fell into recruiting. But hey, we're still on the path.
Yeah.
As they say, shoot your shot.
Yeah.
In the NBA. Well, luckily at that point, we did have the WNBA, but I shot my shot and missed pretty badly.
So, coach, Brooke.
Yes.
Right?
Not until I had my first recruiting job first.
Ooh.
Okay, so you tell us your story.
You're the worst.
The goal was to be a professional athlete, and it didn't work out. And I was home with my parents and didn't want to stay there anymore, so I needed a job. And through a friend from college who was back in New England, which I desperately wanted to get back to, said, you can come work for the company I'm working for. We do recruiting. And as everyone, if you ever try to describe your job when you're a recruiter to someone else, well, what's that?
They're like, you don't even know what's happening.
So that got me back to New England, and it was my first recruiting job. And it was in an agency.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it was contingency agency, and I was on the infrastructure team.
Okay,
so
nice.
It was all, this is the early. So it was a lot of desktop, storage engineers, systems admins and systems engineers, that sort of thing. And I absolutely hated it and left recruiting for the next 7 years. Whoa, coaching came in. That's where I was like, not quite done with the sports thing yet. So ball for 8 years. And then
I love your story. I've heard it a million times, of course, but I also want to impress upon people that fall into this universe of recruiting that you can fall here and have a successful career. Brooke was actually my boss. She was such a great boss and a great leader. And I think that you can find leadership and mentor people through athletics. She was always a good coach and a good mentor. So I'm so excited to see you here on the Talentless.
Yeah. And I definitely think, so one thing that I think is really important about your journey and even though we only got just a little taste of it, but the part of recruiting, there are a lot of people who think that if you can hit a home run, that you can coach the team. That if you're the best player, you'll be the best coach. And that is not the case. And so in a weird way, even though you shoot your shot,
What
just
that was.
because
What were you doing?
that was the ficus, that was Charlotte.
Charlotte was
Yeah.
talking
Anything
to us.
that messed
I
up
don't
here
know
is Charlotte. But here's the deal. But like you took that energy and you were like, if I'm not going to be able to do this, then I'm going to help other people do it. And that's a big piece because that is something that in recruitment, we see so many leaders who were just the best players. They could solve things, but they're not good coaches.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't know how to handle people. The skills that it takes to hit a home run are the very different skills that it takes to teach a home run and how to help someone hit it out of the park. I love that part of your journey.
Actually, we talk about this all the time on
Yeah.
this show, right? Like how leaders aren't built for leadership. And
I
so, you know, athletics is great, but like, you know, you have to be empathetic and a compassionate human, which Brooke, I found that in Brooke.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. So like we got to that leadership role and now I've taken my journey from then to now, and it's super exciting, and she encouraged me all the way. So I want to shift to Krissy though.
Okay, because these are the women that lift us, y'all, if you're listening.
My
right?
God, this is the
Like this is the
team.
community, this is the
team.
group,
Yes,
and this is
right
why we
here.
love it. This is why
Yeah.
we love it. It's
We
'cause
love it.
we
so
all
much.
are what we are because people in this room. So Krissy, lay it on us.
Krissy's the
Krissy.
MVP right now.
What about your journey, my friend?
So mine was interesting. So I moved out to Colorado, started with a small consulting firm in IT. I was doing admin stuff. I didn't want to recruit sales.
Right.
Wanted nothing to do with that. And then I started sourcing, which before that was even probably a title. Headhunter first came out.
Yep.
So I was helping my recruiters, and the owners of the business said, "Be good at this."
Nice.
They're like, "You need to be a recruiter." And I was like, "Oh, please no. Do it. I don't want to do." Here I am.
There you are.
Something years later. But I loved it because people were happy. You found them jobs. I
Yeah.
loved talking to people. So it was the perfect job for
The
me.
impact on people's lives. Like Krissy and I think you feel that. We've talked about this before about how you make an impact on somebody's life. And so that probably really fueled who you were.
Yeah.
Because I know you. And by the way, I know her. Sorry. But like, you know, I know that you're an empathetic and great human, and you just want people to do better in their lives. And that's super
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting. What was the one thing you were like, why I don't want to get into recruiting because of?
I'm like, this is sales. I heard my recruiters, they were in tech and they were so salesy. And I'm like, I'm not going to sound like them. That's not going to be
Yeah.
who I am. But then not realizing I could adapt my own style. That's
Yeah.
like how I was talking about roles and clients. So then
I love it.
And that's it. Yeah.
So, okay. So what happened next? So you started in there. What was your next step? Like for both of y'all.
Yeah.
So we took our 7 years off.
Yeah.
Now we're in the place where we're like, I don't want to recruit, but maybe I'll recruit. What happened next?
Yeah, I was an okay recruiter. You know, I got the job done, but it wasn't my favorite thing. And I think it's coming back to kind of the coaching aspect. I was more interested in helping, you know, a couple years in, the newer employees and newer recruiters make sure they had what they needed for their projects to be successful. And at this point, you know, this was small RPO embedded. So we're all deployed to different clients and working on different roles across different industries. So it was really important to have a good foundation of tools, understanding of what you're doing and what the best practices are for everything. And then I found myself just being more drawn to that than the actual tactical recruiting piece. You know, and I wanted to be the one that helped people do their jobs well. And that's still
why
where
you're
I am
in
now.
talent operations.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
an RPO, which is like makes sense in my head, right?
Right.
It makes sense of where you're sitting right now.
Relates to coaching a lot, right? There's
Yeah,
absolutely.
each project is a
Absolutely.
different game, different
Absolutely.
teams, different approaches,
Absolutely.
different strategies.
We got to create our full court press.
How do you?
So I stayed in, so a lot of my recruiting came, I was in Colorado. So then I started my own business with 4 different partners. So we were doing
Well,
I did it.
you.
The celeb. All
I
right.
know.
Tell us more.
So we were small. We did it for maybe like 2.5 years. Then 9/11 hit. So, but we were
Wow.
doing high volume recruiting.
Now, hold on.
Clients.
She went from I didn't want to recruit, and
Yeah.
then you started your own company.
Yes, we did that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that. And that was great. And then after that, then I moved back.
Yeah.
And then, but still looked for recruiting positions. Stayed in tech for a while, which I can't do. Like, I can't.
Oh my God, so annoying.
Don't know. And then after, a couple of years, worked for small women-owned businesses, and I was by myself recruiting. I was all talent ops. I was doing everything.
Yeah.
And then took me to Corn Ferry, and then brought me here.
I'm going to tell you that you were probably one of the best recruiters I've ever seen in life, taking care of clients and being that person. And I want to kind of switch the conversation a little bit, because you both work for an RPO. And this is the world we live in right now. Recruiting is tough. Job market is tough. All of those things. I would love to hear your take on RPO, on-demand recruiting. Where is that going? And kind of like, do you think it's the future? Do you think it's right now? Is that what's happening? Brooke, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, well, that's one of the reasons why I did stay with recruiting the second time around. And it's been over, I'm over 11 years now with Hub Recruiting / CRG Partners. And part of what really drew me and kept me there was just the changing landscape of what clients needed and how it spanned different roles and different industries. And we could go in and come out and, have really great success. And so we had a great presence in Boston, kind of pre-COVID. And then since then, and with the ZRG acquisition, I think there's still such a great presence for this type of work because it is so flexible. It really is a great model for companies that need a little bit here and done, need a little bit of a boost, or sometimes it is a little bit bigger, and we can do that as well. But I think one of the things we've always prided ourselves on was our ability to kind of stretch and bend and customize.
And this brings up this weird thing, because now I'm like all fire cylinder, like going, like it's crazy, but AI is coming. Right. And so to me, if you don't need a full recruiting team because you think AI is going to do your recruiting team, doesn't on demand make the most sense in that universe? Yeah. I think that's very true. Sorry, I'm not talking in.
Yeah, you're facing her.
The timing, actual role, like all of those things are flexible. It doesn't have to be 40 hours a week. It doesn't have to be, full life cycle recruiting. It can be any, fractional piece of the process, that a company like us can help with.
And I was just having this conversation about interim solutions the other day, about how you put a fractional person in the room, right? And I think it's same as for a recruiter, that you are definitely thinking about how you put the person in the room and get the ROI from that person.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ash, we've talked about this at length about how you get an ROI from a recruiter.
Well, absolutely. And I think, so one thing for the listeners, if you don't know what RPO is, so RPO is like embedded recruiting. Like, I don't really actually know what the RPO acronym stands for, but I
process out.
Well, that's lame. I call it recruiters parachutes out, because it's literally recruiters that parachute into your company whenever you need them, take care of whatever's needed, and then they're out like, little SEAL Team 6. So honestly, the way that we all got together was because I was the head of talent at Bevy and needed a same solution just like what y'all offered. And embedded is excellent because there were days that we needed, like hot times where we needed 12 recruiters. And then there were times where it slowed down fourth quarter blues and we only needed one. And our contract allowed us that expandability and contractability. And that's something that's really unique. So even just whenever we're talking about ROI isn't always just the recruiter in the seat. Sometimes it's the access that you have to that recruiter and the way that they're set up. Because there are some contracts, like, again, used to in the old days, you would contract them and you have them and you keep them and you have to take care of them. And now it's a little different. They have a hub like ZRG that they can be a part of and attach to and have a family and just parachute in to our companies when we need them. And that's excellent.
I think and that is a great question for Krissy. Actually, what do you think the challenges are right now for on-demand recruiting or RPO or embedded recruiting? Like, is it the access to tools? Is it like management? What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's the tools. I find that our recruiters that are completely embedded with their team, they're capturing all that where we're not able to. So the reporting is different. They see the success faster than we do. So having those tools is important for us. Just across the board, everybody's doing something different. There's nothing to measure.
So you're saying be a true partner.
You have to be a true partner.
Yeah. Yes. Like you don't want a vendor. You want a partner.
You want a
in that
partner,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
And then be called like an agency.
Yeah,
You're not
like-
an agency.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like paying the agency fees and like doing
Exactly.
stuff like, okay, go do that. Don't come over
Right.
here to our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Because I know we're talking about their careers. I do want to ask, now that y'all have you've made your transition. Okay, so I feel like we're at the halfway point. Do we still have more in the career journey? Because there is a question I want to ask.
So many.
Sure.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
keep going down the career journey because I do have a question where like I kind of want to know like what's been your highlight of your journey. So if you want to sneak it in there, go ahead. But I want to hear like what was the moment that changed and clicked and you're like, yeah, man, this is where I'm gonna be. This is the door I'm gonna work in my little corner to push open. This is where I'm gonna be. When like talk to us about that. How did you fall in love with talent? Because talent clearly loved y'all before it was there.
I don't know if you're okay with that, but okay.
I don't think I've thought about this question before. I think it's when it came to the point where I wasn't loving the recruiting piece, like actually being deployed and doing the recruiting projects. And when I said, I saw that there were some gaps in our hires, we were hiring a little bit more quickly. We were bringing people into our company who did not have recruiting experience at all. And so that gave me an opening to say, hey, I can do that. Let me put together an onboarding plan. And from there, it went from an onboarding plan to L&D, getting our first LMS.
Yeah.
Integrated. No, it wasn't. It was Learn Upon. Learn Upon was our first.
Oh, that's what it
LMS.
is. No, wait. Never mind. I used Learn World. Sorry.
Rude.
Distraction. We're marketing people we don't know.
Land is who we used
We
first.
are-
And then WorkRamp was second. But that's really where I kind of had my aha moment was like, this is it. This is kind of where I want to live. So that was a really big step. And, shout out to Matt and Tom at the time for being like, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
Because, to take off half of your billable hours, I was doing 20 hours of L&D in the onboarding and 20 hours of billing and recruiting. So they're
Interesting.
covering those other 20 hours. At the time when we were 20, 25 people, that's a pretty big deal.
With dogs in the office.
Yeah. We had a great,
And
we had a great
videos.
on-site location.
By the way.
Oh, how
folks,
fun.
Look up
Huge.
Hub Recruiting. You should see these videos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was it for
Tricksters.
me. That was them giving me the go-ahead to create these kind of processes and systems that, really got us from that 2025, up to 40 and beyond.
Oh my God, I
It's
have
just fun.
so many questions after this, but I'm going to let Krissy go and go ahead and give us the spiel on that one.
Mine was when I moved back to Jersey. I was looking for a job and like the internet, we were like starting, wasn't great. I FedExed my resume to a company in Cranford, New Jersey. It was a tech company. They were small.
I already love this effing story.
I was like, this is crazy. Like I need to find a job. So
yeah.
I FedExed it. They opened it. The next day they called me. They're like, come in for an interview. And I worked seriously with 7 guys. And then it just clicked. I was like, I'm really good at this. And I was really having a good time with it. And then just, stuck with it. I was like, but they were great to work with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the organization dissolved. And I was like, man, I didn't want to leave, but I loved it.
Did y'all's love infatuation, was it ever heavier because of the people around you? Like, do you think it
100%.
was that environment that you went to, that they sent you to, that made you? So sometimes it's the people around you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That, because I remember we had a client and they were some of the best recruiters I'd ever met. It was in that 2020, 2022 peak where recruiters were on the like
Money shot.
You couldn't keep them anywhere. And we were bringing in, that was the only time we were bringing in all these new recruiters, and some of them were just so phenomenal. And I'll never forget, because 2022 tech had all those huge layoffs.
Yep.
And so many of them were like, I will never do recruiting again. And I was like, why? You are so excellent. They were like, and it was their environment. They didn't know they could have better managers, better teams, better resources, just
And this
better
is-
everything.
And you talk about this all the time about how better leadership, how better teams, how better culture.
And we would have missed out on these
I
two
know.
had they not
Oh
found
my
their
God.
right environment.
Absolutely, we would have missed out on them.
Yeah. I'm glad y'all stayed.
Yeah.
I'm glad you fell in love with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you hung out. I'm so glad. So I now we get into this because this is where I was going before, because I got my little
My bad. My bad.
No, it's okay. You derail me all the time. It's fun.
All right, keep going.
Spicy. Anywho, so I really want to know where you guys see your journey taking you in the next 5 years. Like, that's a hard question for me, even, and I hate it in a question if I'm in an interview. So I know it's the worst recruiter question, but I do want to hear like, and I don't mean like leaving your job or like, what is your like
Being employed in general.
Heyo, 2025 goals.
Oh my God.
That's the state we're in. Like state number 1, be employed. Then you get to pick what you want.
Okay. So, like, I just mean from like a trajectory and like where you want to upskill maybe or something like that. Brooke, I want to start with you.
Yeah, what's the new shoot your shot?
Yeah.
What's the shot we want to shoot? What is it?
Babe.
I think I'd like to transition a little bit away from the project management piece and dig into more of first getting back into more learning and development, professional development, because that will always be kind of my heart place. But aside from that, in order to do that, you have to understand the business better. You have to understand performance better. You have to understand what's working in the industry. And I think that's one of the things that I'm lacking, at least in experience right now, is some of the analytics and using data to drive new strategies and it'll never be the primary point for me. I mean, I think data, it has its place. It tells its stories, but I also, want to keep it.
Please, you just did the Ashley thing. She's about to go ham. Activate. She's about.
I got my data hat on.
She's about.
Yeah. Whenever I said talk nerdy to me, I wasn't
Oh my God.
joking.
I know. It's why we have her on this show.
Well, it's also why she keeps me cut off so I don't take the whole show up and be like, let me tell you about the data about the 3.5. Okay, yeah. Keep going, Brookie. Leave us alone.
That's what we need it. I mean, you need it.
get
I mean, it's an important part of the business. You need to refer back to something. You can't just say, well, Ashley was a great recruiter. I mean, she got the job done. Her client loved her when, she closed 1 out of 10 recs and, other, whatever. So
Ashley's a joke.
You need to know the whole story. I can't say it about Krissy that Krissy would have never done that.
Krissy never would have. Ashley, on the other hand, she'll let you high and dry. 25 recs, 1 fill, baby.
No.
I'm just kidding. I know. No, hey, listen, my data speaks for itself. That's why I'm cool joking.
This is the thing with
I don't even got
with this thing. I know we're doing a shoulder thing right now.
I'm % sure LinkedIn reached out to me and was like, you're a top 1% of users. This was with y'all, I think. And they made me host a class for their salespeople to teach them how to.
Okay.
This
is not the Ashley show.
Okay. You're actually No, I'm just kidding.
Today's the Charlotte Franny.
Oh my God, she's freaking ficus, everyone. I just want everyone to know in my life that I love gardening and love plants, but this ficus is
and that's sad.
It's an enemy.
Because she loves you.
I know.
All right,
sad,
we got to
though.
take it to Krissy.
Krissy. I'm sorry. We digress.
5 years?
Tired? Yeah.
Not happening. Not happening.
No?
Hey, we're shooting shots.
We're shooting shots.
Let's just shoot it.
Win the lottery. 5 years. If I were going to leave recruiting, I would love to start some sort of business. The younger recruiters coming into the world, how to do it and the right way.
That's what I'm talking about.
There was a thing. Talk about this stuff. That's it.
You know how many people we've talked to and they say this exact quote, there is no such thing as a recruiter school, so there's no one where you can sing them. And they sound like that too, just in case you were curious. But the most important thing is they're exactly right. There is no school. And this is a thin layer of individuals that impact our social, our occupation status, our salaries, our everything.
Living wage.
Generational wealth. Everything that happens. And it's interesting because 25 years ago was about the point whenever we have gone from paper pusher admin and started in this strategic partnership place. And in that, we have taken on a lot of macro responsibilities that we have not educated ourselves for. And so this thin layer of people, they think they're doing a great job whenever they negotiate $5,000 off of someone's salary because their business has told them that's the right move. When in reality, that's $5K off of a family that could use it way more than your Fortune 200.
About people's lives.
Exactly. But we've been focused on the wrong,
Yeah.
you know, it's always been protect the company. And now it's time to ask, what's the company? Profits or people?
You know, I remember when my mom was my mom was doing the thing, like they had a pension and they had all these things. We don't have that.
No.
We don't have any of that. So why are you so loyal to an organization that literally is not loyal to you?
Well, not only that, but they've infiltrated your life. They're on every single one of our phones.
Yeah.
We're not okay posting to
Right.
LinkedIn whatever we
I
want
know.
because we work for them. We can't. So let's not act like it doesn't. Like that's why I say we of all people, this thin layer, they have got to start acting up. They have got to start getting right because we are hindering our damn selves. All of us are living under this guise that we've all set ourselves. So hey, it's time.
So we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire here.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You faded again.
So
Yeah.
I mean, fun.
Not that weird energy, not me.
So what one recruiting trend would you be like, I really love it right now?
I don't know if it's a recruiting necessarily trend, but hiring trend, reference checks.
Hot take.
Done.
I actually agree
take.
because they never give you one. That's crap.
No.
They never. It's a waste of time.
It is a
It's
waste of
probably their
time,
three
too.
cousins. Like, yeah.
Way too subjective.
Hey,
Let's go.
Interview process, way too long.
yes,
Ooh,
Way
yeah.
panel after panel, no.
yeah.
See, mine would be like a panel interview. So I think if you put somebody in a room and you make them sit with 5 people, it's like annoying.
It is.
It's like, you want them to talk to 5 people over Zoom?
Right.
Like,
Not only that, but what's the value? Like at that
And
point, we're just appeasing our
Yeah.
stakeholders
Right.
so they
Yeah.
can check a box. But
Yeah.
none of them are actually assessing. Like we're assessing this. We're asking the same questions over and over,
Right.
just for people to go off a gut
Yeah.
vibe. And it's like that's not science, y'all. And we're again now a strategic partner.
Yeah.
We have data. We know numbers. We can use like psychological sciences. Let's go.
you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready for it?
Are we asking more questions? I want to know what was the weirdest job you ever recruited for?
Boom. That's a good one.
Oh,
Tell me.
the radiologists.
Oh my God, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. They were making, I could pay them $800,000 a year. Find anyone.
Radiologist. For
Candidate.
800.
Yeah. Yes.
Des and I
Yes.
did that together. Oh my God, it was
It was
Did
Did we ever
horrible.
fill it, or should we fill it
No,
now?
we
Oh, hey,
never
we have
filled
an
it.
$800,000 a
Yeah.
millionaire for a
Yes.
radio. They only make like 75K. in tech.
Exactly.
We all in Minneapolis.
I
What
don't know.
is happening there?
We could not find it.
we
did
did
not fill it.
everything.
It's wild.
Is that wild?
It was crazy.
It was wild.
2,500 candidates I sourced.
And not a was it
Not a one.
credentialing?
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Minneapolis
it was-
people. I
yeah,
love you.
sorry.
Half
I
of
love you
crowd
so
from
much.
Minnesota.
I know. I love you.
Minnesota.
I love you. It's just that no one wanted to move.
Okay, so she had to recruit a billionaire radiologist.
Okay.
Brooke,
Brooke.
what was a weirdie?
Executive assistant.
Really?
I interviewed 95 people and not one made it past the first.
Was that
What
a
did
hiring
they
manager?
want?
The CEO
What was the
so particular. I've never interviewed so many people for one role and did not come close.
oh
And just he kept me on it. And it was like 10 hours a week. It wasn't something I was doing 40 hours a week. But think of the inbound applications that you're
Yeah.
getting.
Hi.
Think of even the sourcing and
Yeah.
response rates.
whenever you're looking for an executive assistant, it's so like any skills.
It's the most difficult and frustrating role I've ever worked on in my life. I am still
We're talking about it.
I'm like, we gotta stop. Impacted by this, the fact that I didn't feel an executive. I was still,
By the way, she's sitting 50 all the time. She needs therapy.
if I was in the, it's pre-COVID and post-COVID, right? It's
Yeah.
Or was I home?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I was in the office.
So,
So thinking
2019.
2020.
Damn.
Wow.
That's rough and
Well,
tumble.
we have to bring it back to Recfest because that's what
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what's happening right now, folks. I'm going to bring it back to Recfest 2025 and say, like, I want to know what you're excited to see and do.
Yeah.
And, like, what are you excited
If we're in
for
the
here?
innovation space
Yeah.
and we're in an environment that is here for our talent, what's the coolest thing out there you think? And why is it talent ed?
This year I love it's bigger. So many great people here.
Yeah.
just to talk to everybody, want to meet new people, get to know them, get to know their stories.
This is what this podcast is always about, right? Is the stories of recruiters who are living in the world that we live in today and their challenges and their fight for what we're doing today. And this is a great place to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're here to see it. And I love that answer. Brooke, what are you excited for?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. I think it's for me getting more familiar about what's happening within the space, not just AI, but some of the other tools. And a lot of the speakers I'm pretty psyched to hear as well. So I'm hoping to learn something, right?
Yeah.
If I learn something from everyone that I talk to or every booth I go to, I think that makes it worth it. But, I think Krissy said earlier, we are in search of tools that will fit our business. That's hard because our business is not.
I'm going to tell you, folks, if you're going to make a tool right now, make it for RPO.
Yes.
I don't know
Why are we
y'all
doing
doing
secret sauce? Why?
I don't know. I just
See y'all in the lab.
I'm sorry.
We headed back to the lab.
I'm sorry. Going back to the lab.
We're going back to the lab. With that.
To the lab. Sorry, folks. Not doing that. But seriously, there is not enough out here for on-demand talent. And I'm going to tell you this. I believe that this is the future of how we work in the future because there is going to be contract hires everywhere. And so when you have to speak to someone, stop making for those in-house people. Think about how you tailor it to someone who has to tailor something to every single client every time. That is a hard position to be in. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find a tool for it. It's hard to do that work. And every day, these two lovely humans have to sit in that and be on demand for every single client that they have. And that is a huge position to be in. Yeah. So please, as you're thinking about talent, you're thinking about AI, as you're thinking about what to make next, and you better not be making it if you're not in talent.
Yeah, please. Please stop. If you're making a journey, if you're like Dottie,
please stop.
You're like, I hired someone once.
Just stop. Yeah. I hired a guy.
Yeah. And I know how to do it. I could make a product.
He worked at the corner store, and so I thought I'd hire him.
No, let me tell you the logic. This is, I got my teeth cleaned, thus I'm a dentist. And it's like, no, you're not. Don't do that.
Yes, don't do any of that. But if you are a real person in talent, thinking about the next step, and you're like, I want to create something, create it for that space. Because I do believe the on-demand talent is going to be where we live in this new future where we live in with AI and all this craziness. And it was so lovely to have these beautiful people on, but they live in it every day and they don't have the tools and the response that they need to do the work they need to do for their clients. So please think about that.
Well, and not only that, but I will say, so if you haven't found Brooke Brooke Freeburg or Krissy Callari on LinkedIn.
Do the stupid plug party.
Oh, we will do the plug party, but I'm plugging something else. Because I'll tell you right now, Krissy Callari is out of office. That lovely lady is taking client calls like early morning.
No.
She is like, and even her clients are like, I'm sorry, I'm now you at the conference. And she's like, listen, time off phone. She's like, I have made space for you. Like, what do you need? And that is the type of people, because I'm going to tell you right now, I work right now at a Fortune 200 company. I have 200 recruiters dotted line to me, and half of them are RPO. And there is such a difference because internally, they see them as a separate group. I see them as very much still our recruiters and our salespeople and the people that we have to connect with. It makes or breaks.
Make him a partner.
So literally, if you have these two in your corner and need RPO, these are the client individuals that you want working.
You want them.
This is a partnership.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a true partnership, and how we talk about not having those individual relationships with agency and contingency fees and I don't know what else you got going on, but this is how you do it, and you do it respectfully.
Yeah.
Have you ever met someone in talent that you were just like, they made you love it, and you're like that, like whether it was who you met, Brooke, when your enablement stuff, but like, is there anyone along your journey that if you had to have a moment and just say, hey, I would like to give some gratitude to this person because I'm in this seat because of where they put.
Good question.
And I think we need to recognize the good ones because, again, there's so much loudness in the ocean. Yeah. We need to start putting those on blast. So who would you say in your environment has helped you, shaped you, anything like that? And if you're like, just my mom, that's fine too. Hey, shout out. Desiree's mom. Hey. Yeah. Also my pop.
Pop.
Yeah, pop. Hi. Okay. What's up?
Good. Okay. I think now using the word love is a little bit heavy, but
Okay, it's heavy.
I would say that was a true mentor and that showed me how to really be successful and kind of what it took. I'd get a big shout out to Anya Cromie. So when I started with Hub Recruiting, I think there were 4 or 5 salespeople, maybe 5 or 6 recruiters. I think I was hired 10 to 12, something like that. And Anya was kind of who they stuck me. And you all know Anya, she's her personality is amazing. She's hilarious, but she's also very good and serious about a job. Like she's
great
very
at
particular. She has her ways in her process. And I tried really hard just to be kind of a sponge for that because it had been 7 years since I'd done any serious recruiting. And this early stage kind of RPO was much different than the contingency firm that I worked for. And I was really not too, I was happy to have a job because I was unemployed at that point. But the idea of going back to recruiting at that time made me very nervous. The model made me nervous because it's a contractor model. So you're only being paid and working when you have a project. So there was a lot of risk for me at the time jumping into it. And so to have someone who was so good at it sitting across from me, and you could hear her interviews, hear the way she did everything, how all of that was probably a big reason why, I was, like I said, I was decent, I was okay, but I wouldn't have been anywhere near even that if it wasn't for Anya. She kind of set that foundation.
Anya, because she's the head of delivery right now for ZRG, embedded recruiting and RPO. So shout out to her.
I think she was hire number 3 there. It was
Hire
like
number
Matt, Tom,
3.
and then Anya.
I was going to ask, because now we're in 2025, so many people don't work in the office. Do you think you could have achieved that had it have been like today?
Probably not. I think I probably would have had the same general type of journey. I mean, even now,
so it really shaped it.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Eventually I would have gone.
That's an interesting take, right? Like if we did,
Yeah, because that's an issue I have with recruiters
about
all
it
the
differently.
time.
No, you're right. If I was remote and tried to do that with Anya, absolutely, it would be different. It would be absolutely different.
Yeah.
I misunderstood the question.
No, girl, I don't even know my question. Take it wherever you want.
I answered and had no idea.
Your answer was solid.
Is anyone?
No one's listening to my question.
Okay.
My question was crap. Delete.
I know.
Yeah.
Boom. Krissy.
Back to my.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Krissy.
My least favorite question so far, obviously.
Krissy, what?
Mine was, and she's a good friend. Actually, it was her and her husband, Bonnie and Tom Johnson. So they live around the corner from me. But Bonnie started her own tiny little life sciences, little consulting, right? It was myself, her, she was doing the sales, and her daughter-in-law was a part-time recruiter. It worked for her for 7 years. I don't know, it was just something about her, the way she spoke to me. She was a mentor still to this day. We've been friends for, my God, close to 15 years. We have dinner every week, but it was just the way she guided me through, either each contract or each conversation, brought me on client calls all the time. We went to Johnson and
A true leader.
She absolutely was. And still, I'll go to her. There's anything that's blowing up that I'm not comfortable with. And we just talk it through. It's amazing.
I'm just sad no one said it was me.
I'm not. Who's
mean-
yours? Don't say me. God, don't.
Why would I say that?
I know. No.
It's weird.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, it's the
Mike has
fight.
changed my life.
I'm just sad that I'm not that impressive.
I'd ask now.
Now it's too late.
Hey,
It's too late.
did
Krissy.
this? Too far
Who was your influence?
Who was my influence to
To
stay in
genuinely,
talent?
on your journey.
Yeah, so I had this wonderful guy. His name was Sam, and I talk about him all the time. And I was in agency at the time, and he was just I don't know. He was I'm competitive.
No.
And
Desiree Gold. Not at all.
but I was super competitive, and he was competitive, and we just bonded on making lives happen. We used to always talk about how the impact on people's lives, and we used to go eat fond me's and like it was just like a weird it was
So
a
funny.
weird relationship. But Sam, if you're listening, you know I love you. How about you?
I'm going to have to say that I've never actually said his name on a podcast, I don't think. But I actually started my recruiter journey in IT staffing, and they took us to like this 2-week boot camp. And one of the gentlemen who was the head of the whole thing and the head of the whole business, his name was Matt Chamberlain. And
Oh, Matt.
I'm not going to lie, that week, whenever we finished, they took us on a one-on-one to tell us like where we needed to fix ourselves or whatever. And all 3 of the directors took me in the hallway and they were like, the only thing we have to say is, you are either going to be the biggest thing that ever happened to talent acquisition, or you're going to absolutely destroy the industry.
Wow.
Okay, here was why. Once, okay, first of all, I was a child, so I called one of the directors bro on accident, and so he was like, "You're," and so it kind of had to do with that. Where like you're either going to be the best or the worst. But you know, from there, he took me to a few other companies, and at the time, and if he's, I doubt he'll ever listen to this, but if it is, fine, you can take this and put it in your pocket, Matt.
Matt.
At the time, I don't think I knew what I had when I had it, you know?
Yeah.
But he was a genuine manager who actually gave a shit and fought for his talent team, fought for his recruiters. And I don't think I knew what that was till it was gone. And so, you know, something, he taught me everything that I have for whenever I push back on managers, whenever I'm like, no, using data, business case creation, everything like that to make a point and make change. I learned from him. Yeah, so like from the jump, like 14 days in, the dude was like, all 3 of them, they were like, something's here. So he kind of planted a seed from the jump.
I love
So
it.
yeah,
I
I'll give
love
that
that,
to him. You
Matt.
can have it, Matt.
That's amazing.
Take it.
Matt, I hope you're listening to this.
He probably doesn't.
So big as a podcast.
No,
I know. No,
We have the
that is-
trees. We speak to the trees. I am the
I am-
Lorax.
I'm really mad about this fight because
You shouldn't be. She's chilling. She's
she's
chilling
not
with me.
chilling. She's chilling with
She
you.
literally-
Anywho, so today, at the end of the day, we are doing plug party for Brooke and Krissy. So this is your time to shine and tell us where we can find you, what you can do, all the things, like how to connect with you. Actually, by the way, we don't know if you want people to connect with you. Do it. So I'll start with you, Krissy. Let's do the plug party.
Well, you can see me in a green skirt, pink sneakers, walking around like watermelon.
Cutest. No seeds, by the way. No seeds.
So comfortable. Yeah, catch me when I'm walking around LinkedIn.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, trying to post more, get more, be more visible. So please reach out.
Krissy
Yeah.
Callari. Is it Krissy? It's Kriss.
Yes. Let's do
Okay.
the K.
Krissy
Yeah,
Callari.
that's it.
Let's do it.
Stalker.
Club.
Nice.
We are already stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything Krissy said, except for, connect with me on LinkedIn and not her for me. Find me walking around here at Recfest, probably confused and hot and trying to find myself. Anyone who looks
right?
confused is probably me. And then anyone else, not just talking about talent, but, let's talk dogs. Any
What this
former athlete, former
podcast should have been
coaches?
about. It should
To
have
be
been about-
honest, we would have
Shut
gone over the
I know.
hour. So
I know.
I don't know if it would have cut it.
Folks, this is a great episode of the Talentless podcast. I am Desiree Goldie, and this is Ashley King.
She is showing me. Hey, this is a podcast about the ladies who make us and make the world go around. We're so excited. This is our second year we're here with Brooke and Krissy, and every single time is an excellent party time. And I cannot express this enough. I have had them as business partners. I have had them as vacation getaway to conferences, and I've had them as excellent friends. I will say that you want them in your back pocket. So if you are listening and you're like, man, we have recruiting stuff that we just need, that's your call.
Do
These are your
it.
people.
Do it.
Phone
right
your
now.
friend.
Hey, we're clocking out.
See ya.